Eddie.
Yeah, I'm running that intro thing, fellas. Woo!
Eureka.
We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day.
We got some real titans on this one. And I ain't talking about the football team.
We make plays every day, yeah.
Hey.
We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day, yeah.
Welcome to the Real Fantasy Playmakers. I am your host, Bogart Scott Free. And tonight, middle of the night, morning time, on the way to work, on lunch, whenever you're consuming this, I got a whole cast of some of the greatest analysts in the game right now. I mean, and we are up and coming. We are on the rise. And we are knocking everybody out, blowing everybody out the water. You know what I'm saying? I want to first shout out our return guest. It's his first time returning to the show. He is the leader of the Guru Nation. And I'm proud to be part of the Guru Nation because we're going to take down this throne league. It's my man, Spencer the Guru. Hey.
What's up, Bogart? Guru Nation in the house, baby.
Yeah, we sure is. Because like I said, we are part of Guru Nation. And with that said, I'm going to introduce another proud member of the Guru Nation. Also my brother from another proud member of the Rum Boys like myself. He is one of the most never late motherfuckers ever. Does that make sense? He's just always on time, always controlling time of possession. He manages the clock like no other. It's my man Justin from Clock Management. Hey, what's up, brother?
What up, man? Just happy to be here.
Yeah, man, happy to have you, man. Welcome back. It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I know, right? Well, you know what? We're back now, baby. Okay, and another reoccurring guest that the Playmakers are very familiar with. It's my man, Joe from Turn Up the Jets. He turns up the facts.
Hey, we about to turn up the facts on this one. You already know, my man.
Yeah, okay, give me 1 second. All right, now, what we're going to do now is go ahead and handle some housekeeping before we get to this carousel of some QBs. Because it is a true QB carousel for 3 certain individuals, and that's what this entire episode is going to circulate around, pun intended. Oh, wow, I didn't even know I did that right there. That was pretty good, huh? Yeah, okay. So now check this out. Follow me at the GMM Network on Twitter and IG. Follow me at Bogart Scott Free World on IG. Also, I want to spend this is a real big announcement. I mean, everybody knows the Rum Boys, us as a faction. We've all been sponsored as a unit by Monkey Knife Fight, but just as of lately, I got the offer, and as the Godfather said, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. And I want to shout out our sponsor, monkeyknifefight.com. Use promo code GMM, and we'll match your first deposit all the way up to $50. We got DFS coming back in full swing, whether it's UFC or, speaking of full swing, baseball looks like it might come back. Basketball's on the way. We got training camp for football on the 28th, so let's hope that we're going to continue to have football, you know what I'm saying, start on time. But go to monkeyknifefight.com for all you DFS degenerates like myself. Use promo code GMM, all capitals. We'll match your first deposit all the way up to $50. Also, shout out to our other proud sponsor, Milk and Honey TX. For all your CBD wellness and all your CBD goodness, go ahead and visit www.milkandhoneytx.com. Also, check us out at the Rum Boys, rumboys.com. That's Rumboys with a Z, where you're going to find all the latest and greatest articles. Shout out to J Love. Shout out to Miles Peacock. Shout out to Connor Burke. All the homies. They killing the game with the articles. Rum Boys Combat. Shout out to Jake. Everybody check them out. Also order some merch. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and click that pirate ship thing. We got all the fresh drippy swag. That's at rumboys.com. Also, I mean, shit, I forgot to mention, go ahead and hit that subscribe on YouTube to the GMM Network if you haven't done already. And also subscribe to us at the Rum Boys Fantasy Network. Hey, all right. Guru, let them know where they can find you.
All right, Bogart. Yeah, you can find me over at Spencer the Guru, y'all. It's at Spencer the Guru. We recently underwent a brand name change, as I stated on your show the last time I came on. We went from Fantasy Guru to at Spencer the Guru. So make sure to just look that up, at Spencer the Guru. We got you. Just give us a follow. You'll be part of the Guru Nation family. We'll take you in with open arms. So go check us out at Spencer the Guru.
Yeah. He's adopting all the fantasy degenerates. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, Papa. Hey, hold on real quick, Joe. Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay,
Why?
try not to move around so much because it's making a lot of noise and stuff.
Got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, perfect. Okay, go ahead. Clock management, my man, White Chocolate. Let them know where they can find you.
What up, man? You guys find me on Twitter at Management Clock, and then everywhere else at Clock Management. Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Greatly appreciated. We're going to be giving away autographed. It's looking like it's going to be a Mark Ingram jersey. I'm running a poll to figure out what it's going to be.
Ooh, okay.
Spencer's dude over there, Cook, is losing the poll. From New Orleans. So.
Cool. Yeah, because like Ingram don't play for New Orleans anymore. That's my team, y'all. The New Orleans Saints, born and raised in Louisiana. So yeah, I'd vote for Cook, but I give the people what they want.
Right, I run the polls, so whatever they vote for, that's who they're getting. So
yeah, it's like the Throne League. You know, like for those of y'all that know the fantasy football thrones going on, Bogart and Justin are proud members of the Guru Nation War Room. And we vote on the players. All right, we've got actually a poll up right now as we speak. We got a poll up. We're hoping Denzel Mims pulls it off, but again, it's up to the people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we know what? We trust the people, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, yeah, we trust Guru Nation, yeah. And we'll trust that they'll make the right decision. I mean, we get a say, too. We all get to vote. But at the end of the day, it's the popular vote that wins out. So, yeah, we'll see how it ends up.
Yeah. Okay, my man, Joe, from Turn Up the Jets. He turns up the facts. Let them know where they can find you, brother.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram, turn_up_the_Jets. I'm also on Twitter, Turn Up the Jets, all one word. Same with YouTube. And you'll also find my link to my channel on my Instagram. So go check that out. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, fellas. All the housekeeping out the way. Let's go ahead. And like I said, we're touching on a QB carousel today. Three quarterbacks specifically. You got Cam Newton, obviously breaking news. He just landed in New England. I want to say that I'm very proud that I was the madman yelling for the last 3 months. That's where he was going to end up, right? Boom. Yay for me, right? He actually filled the vacancy of only one of the GOATs, Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he goes and fills only one of my favorite, guys who's, what can we say? Fantasy. He's one of my favorite fantasy QBs, Jameis Winston, because we all know we love it when he throws picks and pick sixes. That only means he's going to be chucking it more. We love that in fantasy. And either way, he got the boot. He's no longer there in Tampa Bay, and he went on over to New Orleans because they got rid of Teddy Bridgewater. So now, instead of Teddy Bridgewater, you got Jameis Winston there as the backup for Breeze. And then Bridgewater goes ahead and fills the vacancy of Cam Newton in Carolina. So I figured we'd talk about this correlation because these are the only three QBs that are of note to move around in free agency. You know what I mean? I mean, no one's talking about Mariota going behind Carr or nothing like that. You know what I mean? This is actually, these three QBs can actually have some type of fantasy implications, obviously. You know what I mean? And we're also going to touch on the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? A little bit. But so who do you guys, let's take a vote. Who should we touch on first?
It's got to be Cam.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
yeah, I was going to say Brady, but I mean, yeah, Cam, since it's just like such fresh news, yeah, we can do Cam first.
Yeah, okay.
Recency bias.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say
Guru.
Brady's gonna have the most fantasy value. I feel like, but I know they have some
Yeah.
fantasy out there. So yeah, let's dive into it.
Okay, well, so when I was thinking about Cam Newton, I looked back at his MVP season because I just wanted to see where his last ceiling was. You know what I mean? And he had, a little over 250 rush attempts, or somewhere around 230, I should say. He had, mind you, I'm just getting in the ballpark. I don't remember the exact numbers. I know he did exactly have 495 pass attempts, and this was an MVP year. You know what I mean? Now I look at Brady's average in New England. His average pass attempts always hovered around 530. Basically, in the last, let's say, when I looked all the way back to 2010. You know what I mean? So he averaged about 530 pass attempts since then. You know what I mean? His last year in New England, he had up around 570 something. I was somewhere in the ballpark. It wasn't at 600, but it was close. You know what I mean? So, first question, fellas, do you think Cam Newton? What do you think? Where do you think his pass attempts and rush attempts are going to be around? Because, I mean, we do remember Josh McDaniels with a guy like Tim Tebow in Denver, where he had Tebow running all over the place. You know what I mean? So there is a mobile QB playbook there. Kind of one of the reasons why I was predicting Cam going there. You know what I mean? And I nailed it.
Who you want to start with?
Oh, you know what? You know what's funny? I forgot I was the host. You know what? Guru, what you think? What do you think of, from a fantasy perspective?
I'm not I don't mean to rain on the Cam parade here, but honestly, I'm not feeling him from a fantasy perspective. I feel like the Patriots, with their elite defense, there's going to be a defensive first, run the ball type of team, and that's how Bill Belichick is. That's his roots. Those are his roots, to run the ball and play defense. And so because of that, I only see Cam Newton throwing at about, I'm trying to think of a good estimate, probably like
somewhere around 400, 450, 475.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Somewhere between 450 and 500. I feel like at the most, I feel like 500 is like the limit in front of those quarterbacks that throw a ton. I mean, they'll get like way more than that. So I don't think he's going to throw all that much. And his rushing, I don't think is going to be that high either, because with his age, I don't think he's going to be wanting to run like he did back when he was in his early 20s. Like, how old is he now? Let's see.
He's 31. He's 31.
Yeah, 31. And I mean, looking back at it, his rushing attempts have dropped big time as he's gotten older. And I think it's going to drop to about, I'd say around 100, probably no more than 100, I'd say.
Yeah, I was, hold on, let's do this. What's 80 divided by 16?
The answer is 5.
Yeah, because I have him around 5 or 6 rush attempts a game. I don't think it'll be that crazy because they have an incredible backfield on paper. You know what I mean? They have that, the sophomore Harris. They have Sony Michel. And last year, that line was kind of bad, but I think it'll definitely open up the run lanes. The fact that Cam Newton is the threat of him running. You know what I mean? So you're gonna keep a safety in the box. Matter of fact, I actually think this helps James White the most. If I want to look at fantasy assets, someone with Cam, because look at what Cam did in the past couple years with Carolina. He actually learned how to check it down to the running back. I mean,
right? You have Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, and like because Norv Turner and Scott Turner were there. And they're talking about, listen, Cam, you don't always have to run, or you don't always because also they wanted to try to preserve Cam. I think New England doesn't really have to view it like that because they have him for
1 year contract.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, like Todd Gurley with the Falcons. It's like they're gonna run him to the ground.
Yeah, but think about this: if you're gonna drop a safety into the box, or even keep a linebacker to spy, or a nickel to spy, it's just someone to spy on him in general. There's going to be someone open in the flat, and that's going to be James White, or it's going to be, Julian Edelman, but more so James White, you know what I mean? Because they use him in that fashion. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah. And then another thing, yeah, as far as preserve, I think they definitely want to preserve Cam for this season though, because they know if something would happen and he'd go down, they'd be back to Jarrett Stidham, and I don't think Jarrett Stidham's leading them to the promised land.
Well,
so I mean,
okay.
Cam has that kind of upside, and so.
All
I
right,
think
check this out.
they're not going to want him too much. But yeah, 5 attempts a game, that sounds reasonable. I could see that.
Yeah, because, you know, if he has 80 to 90 rush attempts, he's like Russell Wilson the past couple years. You know what I mean? Which is not far.
Not great, but it's solid type thing.
Yeah. Okay, how about this? My man Joe from Turn Up the Jets, he's a diehard Jets fan who actually resides in New England. You know what I mean? What is and he's his whole family's Patriots, right? Hold on, what's that noise? Hey Joe, is that
It sounds
you?
like bubble wrap bomb.
Yo, is that you, Joe?
Yeah, that's Joe's.
Okay. Joe, you good? Post it up somewhere. Do we got him still? Yellow.
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay, no,
He muted himself right now.
Oh, okay. Hey, Joe, I'm trying to ask you a question. I think you put yourself on mute. Okay, you know what? We'll get back to him. Justin.
There he is.
Oh, there. Okay, actually, yeah. Okay, we'll go. What do you?
I don't know what that noise is.
Well, post it. Do you have your phone posted up somewhere?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he
I had
does.
it posted the whole time. It started making mad noises, and now it's.
Oh, okay.
now.
How about this? Try to exit the StreamYard and then go back and click the same link back in, and Justin will let you back in. Cause that thing is crazy. I can't edit all that out. You know what I mean?
It sounds like bubble wrap popping.
Yeah, it sounds like little creatures crawling everywhere. Like I'm thinking sci-fi. You
And
know
I
what I
have
mean?
my
Your phone's got coronavirus.
Oh man.
It must. Shoot.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So Justin, what do you feel about Cam Newton? Like as a fantasy asset, like. If you were to rank him right now, do you have him out? You know?
I mean, it's awesome. So I think this. He's not a QB1. He's outside of that.
Like a high
I
QB2, maybe.
I like Cam Newton. I think it's. Yeah. I have him probably around 14 to 16 now. But the problem is he also can't stay healthy. That's the other issue with Cam Newton is his health. So it's an added risk there that I don't want to get into. I think someone that people are forgetting about, though, also is this is also an increase for N'Keal Harry.
Oh, yeah, because he's a big guy, too.
Yeah, and he's a down-the-field threat.
Yeah, and we know
Cam Newton has an arm on him.
Yeah, he sure does. And I remember him with guys like, like those guys that are borderline tight ends, like Kelvin Benjamin or Devin Funchess. Yeah, like where he could throw them the 50-50 balls. And let's be honest, is Cam really throwing a 50-50 ball or he's just inaccurate? Because I'm on the side that
he's inaccurate.
Yes.
He's inaccurate.
Yes.
He's had one accurate season.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that's the thing. Like, do you want to throw a 50-50 ball up to Julian Edelman?
Oh, nah. Julian Edelman, yeah. As much as I love Jules, that's not his bag, baby.
No, and Cam Newton is not Tom Brady where he's going to fit it in there, thread the needle to Julian Edelman. Like, so I actually think that this may hurt Julian Edelman, and you may see N'Keal Harry eat a little bit more.
Ooh.
But
Okay.
overall, I think that it's a net increase for every fantasy person on this team.
Hey, Guru, I think we might need to nominate N'Keal Harry with one of our last picks. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's already gone, actually.
They bought the hype really fast.
Oh yeah, he went right after that news. Actually,
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Couch that. Yep, fantasy couch. Yeah, it was.
Couch is smart.
Shout out to the couch. Shout out to Hussein the Brain.
Yeah, Harry didn't last long. right. Yeah, he's a good guy over there.
Yeah,
he's
man.
And he's funny too. He's the biggest clown of the throne. He's always making memes and
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And he's bro, it was actually an awesome week, that particular week that I got you on, Guru, because following that I got on the brain, and
Right.
and bro, it was cool, man. You know, he's a Bay Area native like myself, so it was cool to talk to somebody. Like, I know the rapper, he's originally from Florida, but he resides in the Bay. But besides the rapper, I mean, Couch is the only one from the Bay Area, like born and bred. You know what I mean? That I was able to get on.
And I actually started a GoFundMe. We're gonna get the rapper a shirt, guys.
Yeah. Let's. Oh, he wears that same
wants
shirt,
one.
huh?
He keeps flexing those pecs. I don't think he wants a shirt.
I keep messing with him in his comments. I feel bad for him because apparently he doesn't own a shirt.
Other than that
so
one that's
funny.
like fantasy rapper on it, that's the only shirt he wears.
Yeah.
Hey, well, he's like it's kind of like like a cartoon character where like they're always wearing the same thing. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm kind of that way with the I'm always wearing the sunglasses. That's kind of my shtick. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, that's your little go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah, even indoors he got one.
Right.
I got a bunch of my clock management shirts now, so I wear these quite often now. I've noticed like the last 4 times I've recorded, I've been wearing one.
Yeah.
I need to get some Guru shirts, some Spencer the Guru shirts, Guru Nation. Yeah, I need to get some.
I'm telling you, man.
Get some merch, baby.
Yep. And I give mine away to people all the time, like
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what I was thinking. Give them away to my close people, and then I know people
Try
that I
to
know
click
would
back
wear them,
in.
And then
Yeah.
get the word out. Type
I
thing.
have some with cooler logos and stuff that we sell on rumboys.com that are pretty cool. But like these ones I just give away. They're just, real straightforward, simple ones. So I'm like, yeah, just order a bunch of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so turn up the Jess just text me. He's having trouble trying to get back in, but we'll keep moving on until he jumps back in. So, okay. So now, fellas, who do you think? I mean, we talked a little bit about N'Keal Harry, right? What other fantasy assets do you think we should look at as far as the skill positions? Because they're obviously gonna come out of value, and I think with all the hype with Cam right now, a lot of these guys are gonna get pulled up in ADP. But I think when people start to realize the situation and the defense, I think they'll cool down a little bit. You know what I mean? But Sony Michel, I mean, are we looking at Sony Michel? Because he's like an 8th rounder right now.
I want to say something real quick.
Okay.
One thing I think that people like, I know Bogart. I know you said this a bunch of times about Josh Allen. Like, what do you call Josh Allen?
I call him the white Cam Newton.
Right, and what happens when they get in the 10 zone?
Yeah, you're right. He calls his own number. That's right.
Right, and that's what Cam Newton does. I think that this may take away touchdowns from Sony Michel.
That's a great point. Yeah,
that's a
I
very
wasn't
good point.
feeling Michelle even prior to the camp sign. Now I'm really not feeling him, especially with his with that foot surgery he had this offseason. There's a good chance he starts the year on the PUP list. So I tell you what, I'm staying far away from Sony. The 2 backs for New England that could be found really late in drafts that could end up carving out some value for y'all would be Damian Harris.
Yeah.
Harris could have some value. And another guy that people always forget about, but I notice myself usually scooping him off the wire at some point during the year, Rex Burkhead.
Yeah.
Rex Burkhead always
do they
seems to
still
be
have
in the
Burkhead?
conversation.
Is he still there?
Yes, he's still there. And everyone,
He'll be there. He'll be there till the end.
They always forget
Oh,
about
I
it,
forgot
but
he is
from
white.
Belichick. He
He-
catches passes. I mean, he could be worth something. Everyone just seems to
Yeah,
always
man.
forget
Sexy Rexy. And you know what? He is a Caucasian male, and they all Belichick. They seem to find these white athletes that do
These
their
white
thing.
skill positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love that intangible. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so, man, you know what though? I will say this: Damian Harris is a guy I've been picking up with like my last pick in all my mock drafts, just because because man, I mean, with the Sony Michel news, and I mean, let's not forget, Damian Harris is like a do-it-all back, and he was a second round. He carried a second round draft capital, so they might have been holding on to him for this type of situation. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, because I know Sony's injury prone. He's had knee issues in the past. I think he might have arthritic knees too.
Yeah,
He's
he's
got a
got
girl.
that Todd Gurley knee.
Exactly, yeah. So I think Harris is a great dynasty guy for sure. And even for redraft, though, I'd take a shot on him in the late rounds. Like, well, why not? I mean, he's no risk, and it's got a lot of reward. I mean, Cam's going to call his own number a lot, like y'all said.
Oh, yeah.
However, I still think Harris, I think, could a lot of times get 60, 80, maybe even 100 yards on the ground some days, especially if he's getting 15 to 20 carries as their big back, kind of like what Garrett Blunt used to be.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and you sprinkle a touchdown in there, it sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, and
yes, indeed.
I mean, you had me at Blunt. You know what I mean? Because y'all know I'm from Cali. I'm familiar with a blunt or two. And to be blunt, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I mean we have seen them. They like the Patriots over the last 4 seasons. They're always at the top of the league at rush attempts in the 10 zone. You know what I mean? So I hate using the Tebow reference, but Tebow had 6 rushing touchdowns that year with Josh McDaniels. And I could even say, y'all remember when Brady was suspended? Yeah, Jimmy G, he went down after 2.5 games. Then Brissett came in. Then Brissett got his first start, his only start as a Patriots QB. And that was a Thursday nighter against the Texans. And I remember he ran all over them. He even ran one in. So that mobile QB playbook that Josh McDaniels has in the holster, we're gonna see Cam Newton be utilized. But I do say this. That defense they have a shutdown secondary. So, you are right, Guru. You pointed that out earlier. It's going to be more of defense and run the ball and how many shootouts you think they're going to get into. You know what I mean?
Not me.
Yeah, they're going to try to control time of possession and you know how Belichick's defense are built. They're built from the back to the front. So that's why they get so many coverage sacks because they're just tight on coverage, with their DBs. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
Yeah, Sony had 38 carries last year in the 10 zone. That's the 8th most of any running back.
Wow, it's so crazy because.
Sorry, I take that back. It's the 7th most because there's a quarterback that had more than.
Oh, who's that? Lamar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, damn, Lamar is beastie. Okay, all right. So now, let's go on and move on to Tom Brady, right? I mean, because I feel like Tom Brady going there, most of the hype, as far as fantasy implications, it went to Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, even Gronk. A lot of the hype went in that direction. You know what I mean? So let's look at Brady. I mean, because Brady is a value this year, and with the best array of weapons he might have ever had since he had Wes Welker and Randy Moss and those years, right? He even has. I think right now he has a better supporting cast now than that year. Back in 2007. You know what I mean? So so now tell me this. What do we see Tom Brady as? Do we see him as a back end QB1? You know what I'm saying? A mid-range QB1 or because I mean, 600 pass attempts from Jameis Winston last year, that was definitely a credit to him throwing 30 picks. You know what I mean? Tom Brady's going to be able to own time of possession, be able to extend drives. So do you know what I mean? What do you think? What do you think it's going to look like? I have him actually around his average, coming from New England. I see anywhere from 520 to 530 pass attempts.
Yeah, I think it might go up a tad because Bruce Arians, they love to throw with Bruce Arians. It's they're kind of like an air raid there in Tampa Bay with him as their head coach. I mean, he's going to throw it a lot. I think he's back in QB1 material. I don't feel like he's high in QB1 or anything like that because he's not going to just chunk it up like Jameis. He's not going to, make reckless decisions. I don't feel like he's gonna pick his spots more so, if that makes sense. And I think he's gonna be more efficient. He'll be good. He's gonna be a back end QB1. He's my QB11 at the moment, and he's got, like I said, a great supporting cast: Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, the tight ends. I mean, he's got a loaded has the weapons there, but I just feel like he's not going to be airing it out to the point of ridiculous like Jameis did last year. So I don't think he'll finish top 5 or anything like that. But back in QB1, I can see it.
Yeah, I got a couple stats for you guys. I want you to tell me if this is Tom Brady or Jameis Winston last year. 626 pass attempts.
Yeah, loved it.
Who do you think that is? That Jameis Winston or Tom Brady?
No, well, that's Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Completions, 373 completions. Jameis Winston or Tom Brady?
That's Tom Brady.
Yeah. Do you know how many Winston had?
Like 450, maybe? Am I in the ballpark?
380.
Oh,
7
wow.
more. 7 more. You know
Brady
how
had
many passes Tom Brady
4,000.
threw?
How many?
613. 13 less passes than Winston.
Wow.
Their accuracy, their completion percentage was 0.1 away from each other.
Really?
Wow.
I know.
So-
I don't
Yeah,
think people.
Brady's accuracy has gone down some in his advanced age. I will say that, but
Yeah.
he hadn't had the kind of weapons that he's got this year in a while. I feel like those weapons are going to help him.
I absolutely agree. I just it blew my mind when I was looking at these stats that they
Yeah,
threw
man.
basically the same amount of passes. Because everyone's like, Winston is throwing the ball all the time. Brady is managing a game, but they threw the ball the same. I mean, Winston's depth of target is quite a bit more, which kind of makes it more concerning that Tom Brady's accuracy was so much less. But like you said, he's got better weapons. So, I think he's going to do more this year. But he still threw over 4,000 yards last year. So he still got it. And he's with those weapons,
right.
I think we're going to see a huge increase.
Wow, I'm mind blown right now. My mind is blown. But and they weren't able to establish a legitimate run in New England last year, because Sony Michel was kind of like a plotter last year. You know what I mean? But so I guess you can correlate that with the amount of pass attempts. I do remember the first 5 weeks Brady was throwing it 35, 40 times a game, which was crazy.
I think Jets turn up the Jets fixed his audio
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. Are we good now? Can you guys hear me?
Oh
good?
yeah.
Perfect.
Clear, bud. Loud and
go.
clear. Awesome.
Okay.
That was tough. I apologize for that. I don't know what.
But you
the
worked
hell
through
is
it.
going on.
You worked through it.
You know what?
Right? That was.
Let's just be
some
honest.
Technical difficulties.
I may have just broke my phone at that point.
Hold on. Let's just be honest.
I was about to lose my eardrums. That
Bro.
shit was so loud.
Let's be
Gosh.
honest. Let's be honest, bro. He just didn't want to talk about New England because he's a Jets fan. He was like,
Yeah,
He's
I
like,
gotta
I'm
talk
outta
about
here.
those guys all the time.
I'm
bro.
outta
Yeah,
here.
but don't worry. Now we're talking about Tom Brady.
They haunted him for the past 20 years. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, go ahead, Guru. Go ahead, finish your Tom Brady take right here. So, I mean, when you're looking, I mean, I know how you feel about Chris Godwin. Let me know about Mike Evans. How do you feel about Mike Evans?
Mike Evans, I'm all right with Mike Evans. I'm not as high on him as Godwin, though, because like we were saying with Brady not having the arm strength and then the decline in accuracy to some degree, I feel like Godwin is going to be leaned on more than Evans. I think he'll still be able to get it to Evans. Evans will be just fine as a top 8 WR1, but I don't feel like he's going to be quite as consistent as Godwin. I would rather Godwin over Evans. I like them both, though, and I don't mind Brady late. I really don't. I just feel like there's going to be that one guy in your draft that's going to reach on Brady and Gronk, the pair of them. I have a feeling there's going to be that one guy that's going to be, I got Brady and Gronk. I'm going to win the league now. And that's
I love that
going to
guy.
be that good.
I know that guy's so cool.
I always love that guy. I high five him every year.
Yeah, he chases the clout. Yeah, your lead clout chaser. He rides the clout, thinks he's going to win. Last year, they had a guy like that in my 10-man league that took Mahomes and Kelsey back to back. He's like, I got Mahomes and Kelsey at the 10 and 11. I take, I won. It's over. I'm thinking yeah, you won. It's over. You don't have a running back or a receiver yet.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna rewind just a little bit because I do want to get my man Joe's take on this, because Joe is a diehard Jets fan that actually grew up in New England. So he's been getting bullied all his life because he rocks his gang green colors. You know what I mean? He stands his ground. And he was even telling me how juiced everyone was about Stidham and like, y'all, we don't need Brady, we got Stidham. And so what's the consensus like now over there, Joe? Now that you guys got Cam Newton. I mean, not you guys, but over there.
Right. I mean, oddly enough, it's still split. I have a lot of people that are really big fans of the Patriots, big Patriots fans, and they're like, I don't know, they're optimistic about it, but at the same time, they're kind of angry because they haven't been able to have a young quarterback, develop him in 20 years, right? It would would have brought something new to the team, and I think that's what they were most, optimistic about and excited about. But, I mean, we had no idea what Jarrett Stidham was going to be like. There was a lot of hype. It was almost, to me, the Stidham hype was almost equal as Garoppolo hype, which I don't get because I haven't seen enough out of anything that tells me that Stidham, other than a preseason game, that he's going to be the next guy. But I think they wanted something different. Cam kind of sets them back. It's a safer option for me. I mean, I like the move, even not being a Patriots fan, just at a football standpoint. You can't hate that move. I don't care how much you don't like Cam or how much you wanted Stidham. So
I
it's
will
still
say
split
this.
here.
I will say this about Cam Newton. He's one of the only guys probably in the history of ever that can look at Tom Brady's accomplishments and be like, and? You know what I mean? Like, I'll
For
like,
sure.
oh, hey, Cam, how do you feel about filling Tom Brady's shoes? Like, look, I ain't wearing Tom Brady's shoes. I'm wearing my shoes. You know what I mean? I'm Superman. Like, I feel like his confidence.
That's true. He's wearing women's shoes.
Yeah, he's got those Uggs on.
I know, right? You go from a guy who wears Uggs to a guy who wears, like, Mary Janes. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Okay, real quick, rapid fire, Joe. I mean, how do you feel about Cam Newton in fantasy? Like back end QB1, high end or QB2. Like what's your first take? Like your initial reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I heard your guys' feedback too. It would have been a little easier here.
No, but this is interesting. This is interesting to hear your take.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I mean, personally, I'd stay away from him as of right now. I do think guys will benefit from his appearance, and I really going to emphasize on James White, just because.
I love it.
Teams,
you didn't hear me, but I actually pointed out James White as well. Yeah.
The way I think of it is when Newton had those good teams, he had two style runners, and it was D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. And I think the Patriots, oddly enough, have a similar thing with a White and with the Michelle. I think Michelle's more, running through tackles, and White's the more versatile guy who can play in the slot, who is a very good pass catcher out of the backfield, especially towards screen passes. So I think Cam will really help their value, to be honest with you. But
right, you're going to have Harris come in as the Tolbert to steal those touchdowns.
For sure.
The Cameron Artis Payne. He's the new Cameron Artis Payne. You know what I mean? Okay.
Hopefully he'll do more than Cameron Artis Payne ever did.
Well, how about this?
Cameron Artis Payne killed it in XFL.
He did.
You sure
He was a
did.
beast.
Hey, well, you know what I love about James White is the intangible factor, because we all know Belichick loves his white skill position players, right? But he's like, James White, you got White in your name. Hey, dial it up. You know what I'm saying? You knew, but
close enough.
Okay, all right. So we'll go back to Tom Brady. So Clock, what's your take on Tom Brady right now? I mean, because and his skill position players.
I got him as like for fantasy wise, he's a low end QB1 to me, with potential to be like not quite top 5, but like
top 6,
right
top
outside.
7.
Outside that top 5 as his absolute ceiling. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that's his absolute ceiling. I got him pegged right around. I want to say we just talked about this. No, I didn't. I want to say I have him around QB9, somewhere around there in that range.
I like that, actually. I like that because, I mean, like...
Yeah, I think NFC our NFC South breakdown, he talked about that, how he had him like right behind Breeze.
Yeah, because he's gonna be in a ton of shootouts. Like on paper, he's gonna. I mean, because they are playing. They're playing the AFC West as well, right? The South, right? Right, Guru. You guys playing the AFC West, right? So he is gonna play against.
Yeah, we're playing the West.
Yeah, so he's gonna play against Breeze twice, Matt Ryan twice, and then Mahomes. You know what I'm saying?
Mahomes, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And then
right.
I mean, that's already 5 games. You know, granted, it's only a 13-week regular season, in the fantasy season. So it's like, yo, Brady has the potential with all those weapons.
Oh God, the disrespect to Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh no, we'll get to him. We'll get to him.
He's on his little carousel.
I know, you're like he's gonna play Breeze twice, Matt Ryan twice, and then you just move on.
And you know what? Carolina's secondary is so trash, like on paper, that like, and they lost their best corner, James Bradbury, who was actually rated like 70 something, right, Justin? Like according to PFF, so he might not even be that great, but he was their best corner.
But he's still their best.
Yeah, and like he's gone, so Brady could have a field day against. So yes, okay, we'll throw Teddy B in there too. Teddy Two Gloves, as I like to call him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what skill position guy are you honing in on there in Tampa Bay? Like what's one of those guys you're always looking at, Justin?
Oh man, for me, it's the wide. I mean, you got to look at the wide receiver just because, like, I mean, Spencer covered this already, but I'm in complete agreement with him that it's got to be Godwin, and then
because he has God and win in his name.
I even paused for you there.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, that's my cue.
And then. I mean, Evan's going to do fine. He's going to get 1,000 yards in his 3 games, and then, you know,
right? Because that's when he gets it.
Where he
200-yard outings. Do we worry about his torn hamstring?
He's not going to be consistent in Godwin.
What was his injury?
I think he's fine. I think he's going to come back.
Because it was
I want to
really
say it was
late.
a hamstring injury.
Oh, was it torn or was it like?
I think he'll be fine.
Okay.
But,
Godwin got hurt too at the end. They both did.
Yep.
And Perryman came out of nowhere over there. Who's with the now turning.
Yes, sir. But I mean, Tom Brady though, he also loves throwing the ball to his running backs. Like, so you got to look at who's the better pass catching back there as well. I have no faith in Rojo, and I don't think the team does because he sucks at pass blocking.
Oh yeah.
And like, if you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, I brought this up on our show. Like, Tom Brady's going to bench you. The coach doesn't need to. Tom Brady will send you to the bench.
And, you know what? You know I've been beating this drum. You know me. I've been beating the Keyshawn Vaughn drum. Like, I love Keyshawn Vaughn based on the fact that he's not great at everything, but he's okay, better than okay. He's good at everything. And that includes pass protecting. So, I mean, Rojo, he doesn't shred one blitz, he's done. You know what I mean? You know, Brady is on his helmet. You know what I'm saying? And I love Keyshawn Vaughn at the value we can get in redraft. You know what I'm saying? He's going, back of the 6th, early 7th. I mean, if camp starts on time like we're hoping, and we start to see Keyshawn with them team ones, he'll probably get bumped up to like, early 6th, back of the 5th. And I still love that value because with all those weapons, Mike Evans, Gronk, O.J. Howard, Chris Godwin, and for God's sakes, he has God and win in his name. And then, all those threats to take the top off, Keyshawn Vaughn, who I'm projecting to be the week 1 starter, he's going to get 6 men in the box religiously. And it's going to be on an offense that's going to sustain drives, own time of possession. And, you do that especially if you have a good run game. So I'm actually looking at him a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I know I'm big on him as well.
Oh, yeah. I know Guru, when I had him on the show, he was like, I'm not so sure about that yet. You know what I mean? And I love it.
Yeah, I
because-
wasn't quite sold on it yet. He's starting to grow on me though. Since we've done the show, I've moved Vaughn over Rojo. I will give you that. I've put Vaughn ahead of
Thank
Rojo.
you.
So I'm on board with that. I'm still not like super high on him, but I could see someone spending a mid-round pick on him. So yeah, he's growing on. I'll say that.
Okay, all right. So now turn up the Jets. Let's turn up some facts right here. As I know, it's a little bit easier to talk about TB12 right now because he's no longer in your division. So what's your take on him?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be another year. It's you could say that he's regressed all you want, but he really hasn't. Maybe in a fantasy aspect, yes, but you're going to get your 4,000 yards. I believe that he's done that almost every year besides one time in the last 10 years. So you're going to get your 4,000 yards. You're going to get your 25-plus touchdowns. For me, last year could have been a down year, only 24. But at the same time, I just don't think their offense was running the way it was over the course of the last few years. I question McDaniels a lot in his play call, to be honest with you.
Well, I think also Brady, he has a lot of say as well. You know what I mean? Like, y'all remember him getting in McDaniels' face? Remember that?
For sure. Yeah, I think there was some kind of rivalry there at the end.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like the chicken before the egg scenario. Like, listen, the only reason your offense is good because of me. And he's like, no, I'm calling all the plays and for you. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's okay. How about this? What you did miss was Justin. He had us playing the game. Jameis or Brady. So go ahead and hit him off again. Hit him off with that same shit. Because this was really mind blowing. Like, I was stunned.
So I'm just gonna go through their stats real quick to save some time. So with Jameis Winston pass attempts, he had 626. Tom Brady had 613. Winston had 380 completions. Brady 373. Completion percentage for Jameis Winston 60.7. Completion percentage for Brady 60.8.
Wow, that's insane, right?
Dang, that is like
he turned up the facts. He turned up the facts on Turn Up the Jets. That tripped me out, bro. I was tripping when he said that. I was like look at.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a huge discrepancy once you get to yards and to interceptions.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and he's also it's crazy that he only had 13 more pass attempts than Brady because everyone was like, "Oh, Winston has 30 interceptions because he throws the ball 40 times."
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
And I call myself an analyst.
Brady, like I mentioned earlier, he's definitely going to keep throwing it a ton with Bruce Arians as his head coach. So we don't have to worry about him not throwing it a lot. They're definitely going to air it out in Tampa.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Sure. This just makes me feel a lot better about Godwin looking at this.
Yeah. And come on, you know how I feel about him. He has God and win in his name.
Great value in the second, third round.
Oh yeah, and
third round.
I mean, with Brady throwing that
last show.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm also taking
have
Evans too.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, my bad. I was just saying I'm also taking Evans too with confidence, just because I mean this dude has had 1,000 yards in every season he's been in the league so far, and just look at the quarterback tree. It's a Ryan Fitzpatrick, Josh McCown, Jameis Winston. So I'm just really eager to see him.
Hey, don't disrespect Josh McCown.
No, I mean, hey, those are Josh McCown and Fitzpatrick. Those are two guys that the Jets had to desperately sign. So,
yeah.
That just shows that
you're very aware.
You know that.
You're very aware of him.
I'm very aware.
Yes.
So for me, I'm just excited to see what he can do. I totally agree on Brady doesn't stretch the field as good as he used to be. The deep ball's weak. We all know it. That's why Edelman was so good last year. So a guy like Godwin could benefit more because he is able to play in the slot. Evans not so much, but still, these two receivers. I mean, these guys are going to help you go far in a fantasy league for sure, especially with Brady in the mix now. And I mean, Brady's not throwing 30 interceptions. That's all I'm saying.
For sure.
It's going to change that whole offense for sure.
Okay.
Turn up the Jets. I got to ask you though, Keyshawn or Rojo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty I want to believe in Rojo. Just I've seen so much college tape of him because I'm a nut and I've watched so much of Sam Darnold, and that was his running back.
Yeah.
And I like what he can do out of the backfield, but like you said, his pass blocking is terrible. And for a guy that, still has improved himself, in terms of fantasy, I would draft Keyshawn over him. Shout out to Bogart for really convincing me as
Beating
well
the
for
drum.
this one.
Hey, listen. I
They're
want.
both,
We're unanimous. Keyshawn over Rojo now.
Yeah, and they're both 23 years old.
Oh, word.
Right. That's crazy.
And I fully expect all three of yous, as the Italians would say, right? I want all three of yous. There you go. To beat me like I owe money to the mob. The same way I'm beating the Keyshawn Vaughn drum if I'm incorrect. You know what I mean? I expect to hear it from you guys because I'm beating this drum. Because
I won't be able to because I'm also beating the drum.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It'd be pretty messed up if I'm like, look at that, Bogart, you're so wrong.
it's me and you
Like, so
versus
are
the
you.
mob. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to my man Teddy Two Gloves, because there's a lot of mystery and a lot of questions over here. Like we have to understand the type of offense that's going to be implicated. So we got Matt Rule. We all love his albums. You know what I'm saying? We all love his hits, like such as hits with J-Lo. And my bad, that's Ja Rule. This is Matt Rule. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But we will. So Matt Rule, he's coming over.
Yeah, it's
from,
like, what's love got to do with it?
So we got Matt Rule. He's coming over from Baylor. Baylor is one of those schools that was famous for the air raid system. We see the air raid system, spreading across the league like a wildfire. We see it in Arizona. We've seen it in Kansas City because Andy Reid, being the offensive genius he is, he was able to implicate the spread offense, air raid type, because that's where Patrick Mahomes came from, right? So now this system is coming over to Carolina, and then you couple that with the fact that it's Joe Brady, right, who's the OC, another young, young up and coming mind as far as fantasy offense goes. He's one of those offensive gurus, pun intended, right? And
behind the LSU.
Exactly. And right, come on, Spencer. You remember this? He was over there with New Orleans.
People from Louisiana, they were like, Joe Brady,
Yes.
the savior. Like he was saying, and of course Joe Burrow. That was.
And he
that was
wasn't.
huge.
He did spend time as some kind of offensive assistant. I forget his exact role, but before he went to LSU, he was with the Saints.
Right, he learned under Coach Payton, so he learned a lot from them and took that to LSU, and it all goes hand in hand, this air raid, this throw first air raid deal, it bodes well for fantasy, so Carolina, I could see some fantasy fruit coming out of Carolina for sure. I really like
DJ Moore? Oh, yeah.
DJ Moore this year out there,
yeah.
so yeah.
And, okay, so,
I want some more DJ. Like I said on the
pun intended. We want more.
Like I said on the NFC South show. Yeah, we want more and more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so look at all those things we just highlighted about what's going to happen in Carolina. It's still Teddy Two Gloves. You know what I mean? Like, is he going to be able to be like? Is he going to be able to make these fantasy assets relevant?
Yes, he is.
I know DJ Moore.
I'm gonna jump in. I got the answer for it. This is why.
Yes.
Because he started 5. He's everyone's like, oh, is he gonna throw the ball enough? Can he throw it down the field? He started 5 games and he threw for 1,300 yards in 5 games.
Wow.
If you were to
prorate that,
like that's not bad stats. And then his completion percentage is 74%.
That's not
he's
bad.
extremely accurate. So
that's really good actually.
That's because he's sitting at about 4,000 yards if you were to extrapolate that out past for a full season.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is 4,000 yards is enough to sustain at least one wide receiver, possibly 2 or more. But like that's fantastic. Like there's no reason to be afraid, especially of Moore.
Yeah, good fucking point, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. First 16 games, he was on pace to throw for close to 4,000 and almost 30 touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, I think he's just fine for Carolina. He'd be an upgraded QB. He's a QB upgrade. I feel like everyone's like, oh, Kyle Allen and Cam Newton. He's no upgrade over them. Like I feel like he is. He's more accurate.
They paid him. They paid him like he is.
They believe in him. They got Brady now is calling the shots on offense. Yeah, I think Bridgewater's. I don't know if I draft him per se is like
No.
trusted, but I definitely think he's gonna help. Justin's right. No, I would not draft him, but I definitely think he's Christian McCaffrey's gonna be just fine. I don't think he's gonna go down any. I think DJ Moore's his stats will increase. Curtis Samuel could be a decent mid to late round option. Like they're gonna have some fantasy relevance there for sure.
And don't forget about my man, the string bean, Robbie Anderson. He's gonna.
It's either gonna be him. It's either gonna be him or Curtis Samuel, but not both. And if I'm grabbing one of them, it's gonna be Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, because Samuel also. He also has the capability of being used in other facets. You know what I mean? And some end arounds, some screens. He's not just a field stretcher. He's kind of like a gadget guy in that sense. You know what I mean?
And he's like an incredible route runner. He doesn't get enough credit for because he's so athletic in every other aspect.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about this on the show we just did. I just had on our show with Guru actually. When you look at Matt Harmon's reception perception, he had 3 yards of separation in every route. Like every type of route.
It's sad. It's just because he went from inaccurate
ridiculous.
Cam. He went from inaccurate Cam to overthrow, underthrow Kyle Allen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his receptions was horrible, but when you look, I believe over 80% of the incomplete passes to him were deemed uncatchable.
Uncatchable, exactly. Okay. Okay, my man Joe from Turn Up the Jets. How do you feel about Teddy Two Gloves?
Yeah, I mean, I like Teddy Two Gloves. I think he's more of like a game manager than like a guy that's going to really fill out the stat sheet. I think Moore still has value. CMC obviously still is the top back in terms of fantasy asset here. If DJ Moore is a valuable guy last year. I call him Mr. Consistency because PPR leagues, it seems like he's always just double digits. And I take those type of guys over any boomer bust guy. If you could succeed over Kyle Allen, who was, especially down the stretch of the year, was god-awful, and then they try to replace him with Will Grier, and he was even worse. So for me, I don't think their value could even, it could only get higher at this point. For me, I'm not drafting Teddy in fantasy just because I think he's more of he's a good real player, if this makes sense. He's a good real player. He's not a good fantasy player.
When we look at those,
I feel him.
Yeah, he's the opposite of Fitzmagic.
Yeah,
right.
He's good for fantasy.
Like Fitzmagic's great in fantasy for 5 weeks, and in reality, he kind of sucks. So it's like the same thing.
All right. Well, how about this? When we talked about his 5-game starts with New Orleans, and that was 1,300 yards. And then you prorate that, he was somewhere around 4,000 yards and 30 tugs. You know who else was like that last season, Justin?
Who's that?
Jimmy G. Jimmy G. Yeah, so and people look at Jimmy G as like a.
And Jimmy G was able to sustain Debo and Kittle.
Exactly. So
and valuable fantasy
down the stretch.
Yeah. And
another good real player that's like who can make others around him fantasy valuable. That's how I look at it. I mean, it doesn't just because the guys around him are doing well doesn't mean the quarterback's going to have that value. But there's the same thing like Garoppolo, like you said, he still was able to. Kittle is, I think, the second-ranked tight end. Debo was one of the best rookies, other than probably AJ Brown. So totally agree.
Okay. Before we move on to the reality segment of this show, and then we'll close this thing out. So Joe, tell me, as a Jets fan, is there still some residue love for your man, Robbie Anderson, my man, the green bean, who I actually have to call the string bean now because he's not wearing green no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the string bean now.
I love the green bean, a.k.a. the string bean.
The Carolina Reaper.
Ooh. Oh, my God. Don't put that in my head, Justin. I love Robbie Anderson. Don't give me a reason like a cool nickname like the Carolina Reaper to make me look at Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, for Robbie, the Reaper, the green bean, I don't know, he's the definition of a boomer bust for me. And a lot of people think he's just a deep threat. I mean, they kind of try to make him all around, like just be able to be that guy to move the chains. It didn't work as well as they figured. But I'm interested to see what a guy like Joe Brady, I would take him over Adam Gase calling plays any day of the week, even though he's never even called a game. Just what he's done. Just what he's done with LSU. It's amazing because Joe Burrow just goes from throwing only 16 touchdowns as a junior year, I believe it was, to throwing
60.
What was it, 50, 60? 60 touchdowns. Like, that is insane. They obviously thrived in the system. But I think Robbie could be a guy that is valuable to Bridgewater. But, I mean, him and Samuel, it's definitely a tougher discussion than it should be. Because, for me, when Anderson came out, I thought he was going to be a great player. But in terms of fantasy, he's just that boomer bust guy. Yeah. And if he's not scoring a touchdown, he's really So, I mean, I'm okay stacking him on my bench, but, I mean, I'm only going to go after more. I'm probably going to stay away from Samuel and Robbie Anderson, to be completely honest.
Okay, so, it is going back to the fact that it's going to be the air raid system implicated. We're going to see a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, a lot of spread offense. Christian McCaffrey, CMC is going to be lined up all over the place in those 4 wide receiver sets, empty back sets. He'll still be on the field because of his skill set, right? So I'm not afraid of CMC losing any value. Hopefully, if you're the second pick overall and that first pick overall is a guy who's a Saquon truther, and then you'll be happy to get, CMC because I feel like finishing number 1 overall, it's more far-fetched than him finishing top 5 because it still is a new offense. And like if you could just if you're a defense, you could try to hone in on one aspect of that offense, it would be CMC. And I will say this, one intangible that I love, and this is gonna be ignorant because anytime I talk about intangibles, I'm talking about some crazy shit. One intangible with Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves, is that his whole career was preparing for this moment to play football in the corona climate confinement. That's why he wears 2 gloves. That's why he might have an advantage. I told you it was going to be ignorant. And you want to know what else is kind of interesting? Go ahead.
I got to ask, though. Ian Thomas, is he going to be? You guys think he's going to be fantasy relevant?
It's possible.
I think he'll be a waiver wire pickup at one point. I think he'll
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yep. I think he's like a sneaky late tight end that you could stream a week, some weeks, or maybe just snag him off the waiver wire if he does pan off, because I don't think most people will grab him.
The one thing I'm worried about the air raid system is like, if I could look at how it's been implicated in the league so far, so like the 2 teams are the Cardinals and the Chiefs. It's kind of been hard week to week to pinpoint which receiver is going to eat. You know what I mean? Because of the high ratio of 4 wide receiver sets. You know what I'm saying? Like, where I'd rather just have the quarterback and, the guy who's going to get it all, right? It's like if you can't pinpoint which receiver. In this case, DJ Moore is definitely going to be, especially being a 3rd, 4th rounder. You know what I mean? I love that. Because I've seen him even go in the 2nd round, and I think that's crazy because I think that's his ceiling. But, like, he definitely has a floor. And if there's any guy whose usage is, as far as what Teddy Bridgewater was used to with the Saints, And then, mind you, DJ Moore is no Michael Thomas, but DJ Moore is a slot guy who could be an outside guy. They could use him in all over the field. So I'm not afraid of DJ Moore, especially at his value. But man, the one interesting thing that I do love to look at is the fact that, and mind you, we're not going to see this year, but it's interesting that they picked up PJ Walker. The guy, he was the XFL god. You know what I mean? And if y'all remember PJ Walker, you know what I'm saying? He was like a third string behind Jacoby Brissett, behind Andrew Luck, right? And he was actually the quarterback for Matt Rule in Baylor. So it's no coincidence they picked him up. So and he has a better arm than Bridgewater for sure. But I'm just saying, if anything happened to Teddy Two Gloves, you know what I'm saying? I think there's a backup quarterback that can still, it could still support those the DJ Moores, the CMCs. I mean, look at when it wasn't Cam Newton, CMC still was grubbing with Kyle Allen. When it wasn't Kyle Allen and that last game, the last two games with Will Greer, bro, CMC still put up 30 in PPR. It didn't matter. Remember that Colts game, y'all? Y'all remember the Colts Carolina game?
Yeah, CMC is bust proof.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love it. Love it. Okay, so now let's go to reality. With Cam Newton in New England, what are we looking at this in reality? I mean, if we could set an under-over on them, just in a nutshell, and we'll set it at 8.
On their record?
Yeah, if we set it at 8, right? We're definitely going over, right?
I would think that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that division.
I think the harder question, so assuming that he plays a full season, yes. The harder question to me is, does Cam Newton play a full season?
That's tough, man.
I don't think so.
He's going to miss a couple games, I feel like. And because of that, I have the Bills still taking the AFC. So I still think it's Buffalo's division.
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, I think if he played the full season, then yeah, but his twin over there in Buffalo is going to end up taking it.
Right, yeah, the white Cam Newton job.
The white Cam Newton. Hey,
I think
Guru.
he's going to win that thing, man. I think the Bills are going to finally break through and win the AFC East this year. Y'all heard it here first.
Hey, you know what's interesting, too? I just remembered this.
Sorry, turn up the Jets.
Well, check this out.
I got them too. I mean, the thing for me is I obviously do a lot of research on the AFC East, and I had this was before Newton. I had the Bills at 10-6, and I even had the Patriots there too. I know crazy because it's Jarrett Stidham, but the way I look around it is when teams play well without elite quarterbacks, there's teams that made the playoffs last year that aren't elite. Tannehill's not an elite quarterback. I don't think Kirk Cousins is an elite quarterback. Jimmy G. Sorry, Bogart, is not an elite quarterback.
Yeah, I'm a Niner fan too.
Yeah, sorry to us. Listen, but he's the most handsome, okay? I'll take the intangible.
Yeah, we'll give him that. But the thing with that is where I'm going with it is you build teams around good defense and solid offensive line. I think it helps the quarterback. If Cam Newton stays healthy, then that's going to be very interesting. I know he's hungry. I know he's in great shape. It's not like he's not going to come in with not being in good shape. That's not a question. It's just whether he could stay healthy. He's actually 0-8 in his last 8 starts. So that, to me, is kind of concerning. But if that dude could stay healthy, there's no doubt. I think the Patriots aren't going away either way.
And I think...
I mean, honestly, how you win games is running the ball and defense and good clock management.
Oh, yeah.
Clock management.
Ooh,
the clock, baby.
That sounds like a shirt.
That's what it is.
That sounds like a shirt right there. How do you win games, right? How do you win games? Yeah. Good defense, solid run game, and clock management. Ooh. Yeah, you can send me. I'll send you the invoice later. You know what I'm saying? Okay. How about this?
I said it.
Yeah, you're right. I know. You can send me the invoice then. Okay, how about this? So Bill Belichick. One thing that is interesting And I said this on a lot of my podcasts, and which was cool is that like I actually like clipped these little segments and I actually put them on my page. So it was really cool to like repost these in the past couple days as soon as they signed Cam Newton. And I was talking about Cam Newton going to the Patriots solely based on there's a mobile QB playbook there. You know what I mean? And the Patriots are the only place that will be able to get a caliber of quarterback like Cam on a Patriots type of deal. And bro, they killed it. $1.1 or $1.5 million. Like that is just crazy. And he's gonna start, right?
I gotta know.
Bargain for you.
Yeah, I gotta know how you label your clips. Like you,
Bro. Well,
I would have never found that clip from one of my shows.
here's how
like I know I said it, I just don't know when.
Well, here's the thing is like I have a memory like an elephant. So and like when I it's an audio podcast, so when I listen to it the whole way through after the fact. Cause just to remove any kind of like, extra noise or, little shit. So I'll put little markers on my program. Like, okay, I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip that. You know what I mean? And like, I love clipping my crazy takes because in this case, I was saying like, people were like, oh, he's going to go to Pittsburgh. Oh, he's going to go to the Chargers. I was like, no, I think he'll go to New England because of Josh McDaniels. And here's another one I clipped. I was like, Bill Belichick has an itch on his ass. And that itch is Cam Newton because Cam Newton bested him twice and the only times they've ever played in Cam Newton's career. You know what I'm saying? He bested him twice. And who's been besting Bill Belichick in the past couple years? Mobile QBs. Look at in more recent history. Last year, Lamar Jackson tore him up. Deshaun Watson tore him up. Patrick Mahomes tore him up. Like these guys that are Russell Wilson has torn him up over the years. You know what I mean? And bro, if they would have ran it with Lynch, Russell Wilson would have bested him, in the big one too. Because Russell Wilson,
you're right,
in his whole career during the regular season when he plays the Patriots, he's beat them. He's gone into New England twice and beat them. He's beat them in Seattle. Like Russell Wilson and that because he has that dual threat. So it's like, what do? You fight fire with fire. And that's what Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels are doing. They're like, listen, we're going to go ahead and get Cam Newton. I don't care if he wears dress. If he wears dresses.
And now he can scheme against him, have their defense.
Yeah. You know what, though? Here's one thing I will say. The Bills, it's Sean McDermott. And Sean McDermott was the defensive coordinator for years with Carolina. So he knows Cam's weaknesses. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's one thing that I think is interesting. Like, and it's no coincidence that he went and got the white Cam Newton when he was right. And okay, for Joe and for Spencer, because Justin already knows why I call him the white Cam Newton. This is why I call Josh Allen the white Cam Newton. Because what is Cam Newton? He's got a big arm. He's wildly inaccurate. And in short yardage or red zone scenarios, he's calling his own number. Tell me that's not Josh Allen.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, bro. I really do. That's a great comparison.
It really is.
All those comparisons make sense. Yeah.
So I'm gonna love it that we could see them twice a year. You know what I mean? Who's the real Superman? You know what I mean?
Who's the real Cam Newton?
He's Brad Newton. If I could think of a white name, it would be Brad. So
oh man, yeah, I love that. Yeah, we got Cam and Brad Newton.
Yes, separated at birth. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead on to Tom Brady. What do we think? If we could we'll put it at let's put it at 8-8 again. We'll put it right at 500. I mean, because this one's a little trickier because of the likes of Matt Ryan and Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying, and Brady, all in the same division. The NFC South is going to be arguably the most entertaining division to watch. And I'll throw in Teddy Two Gloves in there. I don't want to disrespect him. You know what I mean? But, he's not in this conversation as far as like, like who's gonna cannibalize who, because you know that division's gonna eat each other up as far as record goes. You know what I mean? Because I do not have Tampa Bay running away with this by any means. Like, you know, I still have the Saints as the front runner, but like, what do we think with under over? Like, I mean, this is another no-brainer, huh?
For Tampa Bay, definitely over. I feel like, because if it wasn't for Jameis screwing the pooch last year so much and throwing all the picks and turning the ball over so much, they would have probably won 9 or 10 games. So yeah, I'll definitely go over. I think the Bucks win at least 10, maybe even 11 games with Brady, but I've still got to go with my Saints winning the division. However, if it's 8-8 over under, definitely over for Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going over as well, but that is a tough division too with the Saints and the Falcons.
And don't forget about Teddy Two Gloves.
I think Teddy Two Gloves, them and the Falcons, they might be competing hard for third. I don't think either one they'll finish above 500. I have to go under for Carolina's 8-8 projections. I just think they've still got some unsolved business on the defense, and the O-line, I'm not sure how good their O-line is either.
It's true.
So I've been telling people I think that they're going to be shocked with how well Tampa Bay's defense is.
Yeah, I mean, bro, they were their number one. They were their number one run defense last season.
Yeah, they had the sack leader for the NFL there as well.
Oh yeah, shout out to Shaq Barrett.
They have a good defense. Jameis Winston just was putting them in bad situations.
Exactly. Yeah, they have one of the best run defenses in the league. They were the only team that shut down CMC. They were the only team that did it last year. In the 2 times he faced, those were CMC's 2 worst games was when he faced Tampa Bay.
And the one time, the second game they played in London.
I got Shaq Barrett to do a video saying that you win games by good defense and clock management.
Nice. Yes. Okay, Joe, what you got, Joe?
Yeah, for me, I'm definitely taking the over at 8, but I'm not putting them over New Orleans just yet either. They got to play New Orleans twice. They got to play the Falcons twice. They got to play Green Bay. They got to play Kansas City. It's going to be a tough game, tough season, excuse me. But those are, I mean, if you have Brady, your chances are definitely better. They were still 7-9, but with Winston throwing 30 interceptions. So you have to be feeling confident as a Bucs fan, but at the same time, that is a tough division. I'm worried about their offensive line, not their defense. I think anyone who says the Bucs defense sucks, they just don't look at it that the Buccaneers were arguably they're arguably one of the best defenses in the second half.
And you know Todd Bowles. You know Todd Bowles very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great defensive coordinator.
A lot of people don't use DSTs anymore in fantasy, but if you do, you look at where the Buccaneers are, and I think they're rated, or their ADP like for defenses is or they're ranked like the 23rd defense to go off the board. Like, what?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, because
it's
crazy. Jameis, he threw so many goddamn picks that he would, that defense would start in the red zone if it didn't go all the way. You know what I mean? So that's why their secondary was rated like bottom 3 of the league. Granted, I mean, I'm not a Carlton guy or I can't even remember any of their other cornerbacks. You know what I mean? But Carlton Davis, there you go. Yeah, Carlton Davis and Hargrave, that's their best corners. And, you know what I mean? Like, Jameis was definitely put them in negative situations all the time. So, I mean, then those numbers could be skewed, but their run defense, those numbers aren't skewed at all. Those were super legit. And it goes back to Todd Bowles' history being even going all the way back to Arizona even. Like, man, he always has a top 5 run defense. I mean, even when he was with the Jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, he's a heavy blitzer, and it doesn't surprise me that Barrett comes out of nowhere and gets as many sacks as he did.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I believe the crazy thing is that running backs averaging 73 yards per game against the Buccaneers. That is like historically good. I mean, for me, I definitely think their defense is better than what you think. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to give them the over, but I'm not giving them the division yet. I'd say around 10-6 for me.
I got them at 9-7, and still with the addition of the 7th seed in each conference, 9-7 could be still enough to get them into the dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
For
think
sure.
they'll get the dance. Them and New England, I think, will be in the dance when it's all said and done. I think Brady and Belichick. I'm not saying they'll face off against each other in the Super Bowl, but they're definitely gonna push for it. I can tell you that. I'm thinking Saints Chiefs for the Super Bowl, but you can't ever count Brady and Wild Bill out.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, they
this-
can't in the Super, I guess they could, but like, man, they don't play each other this year, do they?
Nah, they don't.
No,
Next year.
That's upsetting.
We played a West. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's upsetting.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
How about this? So if I was to put Carolina at 5 wins, what's the under over?
Ooh, that's tough, man. That's tough. I would have to say that's about where I think they'll get. I don't know if they get some breaks. I guess I'll say the over because I feel like they could with Teddy. They're not going to
wins.
lose stupid games, so I think 6 because he's not going to lose the game for him. So I'll give him 6. I'll say over.
Yeah, I'm going 6. Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna give him a 7th win.
Ooh, nice. Teddy Two Gloves loves it. Friend of the show. What you got,
I'm gonna give them 5. Just their defense. I mean, I know they went all. They actually drafted every player they drafted was a defender. So I mean, they're obviously trying to rebuild there. But for me, first year head coach, Teddy Bridgewater's only played 1 full year. He's only played 16 games once in his career. There's a lot of question marks for me, so I give him 5 wins.
But there's one answer to all of them. And
What?
it's CMC.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The unicorn. That's what I call him.
If Teddy Bridgewater starts playing bad, CMC's just gonna take the ball from him, and he's gonna become the quarterback as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm already a receiver. I'm already the running back. I'll be the quarterb's too.
He'll be
love it.
quarterback eligible mid-year, maybe.
Yeah, let me know. He's like, and I'll kick off after I score.
He's gonna get his Doug Flutie on. He's like, listen, I'm kicking the extra point even. You know what I mean? Oh man. Okay.
The drop kick.
Right? Oh my God, that's right. He did do the drop kick. Okay, so all right, so I'm trying to think of a random question before we start sewing this up. You know what I mean? Because I know that this was the concept of this show was to circle around those 3 QBs. But I mean, is there any other? Here's a question this is kind of for the future. So this is a fantasy question, as in not fantasy as in fantasy football, but like let's fantasize. You know what I mean? Let's just imagine. There you go. Who's a quarterback you think that's going to be in next year's carousel moving around?
Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
I think
very
there's
possible.
There's a sour taste in there. I know it. I know that him and McCarthy had bad relationships, and what they did in the draft to me, it's just I don't know what they're thinking. Jordan Love. I mean, this dude was. You go look at his stats. I mean, he had that one great year, but man, I don't see what they're seeing, obviously. And then they go draft A.J. Dillon, and they already have Aaron Jones. I don't know what they're doing. They need receivers. They didn't address that. They had a good defense. They really screwed it up.
Hey, just a gosh darn minute. Let's not disrespect Devin Funchess now.
Devin, yeah, we've been. Hey,
He solved all their
He was
problems.
the wide receiver too when Newton took them to the Super Bowl, right? He probably
sure
had like
was.
300 yards, but still.
Okay, I got one.
But I don't know. I'd say Rodgers.
Okay, so here's a crazy bogey bold prediction. I'm pretty good at these. So I think Derek Carr will definitely be on the move. And if Dak Prescott doesn't get a long-term deal with the Cowboys, he's going to be the starting quarterback getting all the money from a franchise that historically overpays guys. He's going to get all the monies with the Las Vegas Raiders in 2021.
Ooh, I can see that, Bogart. I like that.
It's kind of crazy, right? Crazy is my brand.
Steaming hot take.
That crazy might happen. Like, I mean, I could see Dak leaving Dallas. I was actually about to bring him up as somebody that I feel like could be on the move. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because they'll be able to
Also,
pay
you
him.
got Mitchell
That was
Trubisky.
kind of
Oh,
cap hill. So
Okay. Yeah, Trubisky. I forgot about him because they're not picking up his 5th-year option.
Mitchell Trubisky. Yep. And so if Nichols ends up taking that job from him, or he just doesn't perform up to the task at the end, he's going to be out there looking for a job.
For sure. You know who's one that you could.
I got one more too.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So you might take mine, but
No, I won't. I won't. That's Nathan Peterman. He's a free agent after this year, and he always finds a job. So I was going to go somewhere.
Too. Same thing. Those guys are always around.
Oh my God.
I'm excited for Fitzpatrick though, because
me too.
I at some point, I'm just excited for the point where he won't be able to go to a team that he hasn't already been on.
That's for real.
At some point, it's going to happen.
Fitzpatrick, low key, he's trying to give Phillip Rivers a run for the money as far as having children, the amount of children. And fun fact, if you look at all the places Fitzmagic has been, he hits his wife with that magic stick everywhere, every state, every team he's playing on. He has a kid on these teams when he's on certain teams. He has a kid. All of his kids are born in different states. It's kind of crazy, and I think he has 7 kids. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, five. Okay, yes. So they're all born in 5 different states. And if I was him, I would just start naming my kids after the state that they were born in, like this. Hey, Miami, come here. You know what I mean? Give me a diaper so I can change Tampa. You know what I mean? Hey, New York. Hey, stop climbing that. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of kids running around. Yeah.
Man,
Okay.
Phil Rivers got 9 of those things, though.
Yeah, he sure does.
That's impressive.
I don't know. I still think Antonio Cromartie wins, right?
Just the whole family,
I'm
right?
not sure.
There's
There's a video of him talking, and he forgets after the 7th kid, he's like, yeah, I have her too. I think he had multiple wives. I don't know what the hell he's up to.
Oh man.
Okay.
I don't know what his
He's got 10. He's got 10.
Well, let's
confirm.
address.
Man.
He beats Rivers by 1.
Dang.
He's the champion.
Hey,
Holy
Rivers.
crap.
Hey, Rivers is about to take the throne on this one. Rivers just, you know what? As quick as Rivers' release was, remember Rivers? He has one of the quickest releases, right?
Are we still talking about football?
I have one more quarterback on the move.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How about this?
We're going.
Are you Guru?
Different land here, it sounds like. But
Guru, what you got? Who's
my,
on the
my
move?
quarterback that I think could be on the move is it's just a scenario. I'm not saying he'll definitely be on the move because I think if in Detroit, if they do well this year, I think he'll stay. But if Detroit bottoms out this year and has just a totally shit season and they fire Patricia and stuff, I think Matt Stafford might be like, I want out. I'm requesting a trade. Ooh. And I think at that point, Detroit would be okay. Hey, let's trade you. Let's rebuild, get some draft capital, and start from scratch. I think if Detroit bottoms out this year, goes 4-12 or something, I think there's a good chance Matt Stafford's in a different uniform next year.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to address the elephant in the room.
There's another quarterback whose contract's up next year that I think could move. I don't know. I don't think he'll be a starter, but that's Tyrod Taylor.
Oh.
I mean, the Chargers, I don't think have any intention of re-signing him as a starting quarterback. As they brought in a quarterback. So I think he can move somewhere. I don't know if there's many places he could start, but I mean, we'll see this year, how he performs.
He might go back to the Bills and back up Josh Allen because their game is kind of similar. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
T-Mobile.
Yeah, well, what about... Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room because we do have a Saints fan here. Is this really Drew Brees' last year? And if it is, if you're looking at all these quarterbacks that might be in the carousel, or the fact that you got Jameis Winston there already in the building, and another guy we didn't mention is Ben Roethlisberger, who might be on the move also, or maybe just be done.
And Taysom Hill.
Oh yeah,
I think Big Ben's done too. I think Breeze and Ben are done after this year. I really do. And it pains me to say it about Drew because he's been my favorite player ever since he came to the Saints. I love Drew. He's gonna probably always be my favorite Saint. But I mean, I think the chapter's about to close because the fact is he signed that TV deal with NBC. Once he did that, I was like, well, this is probably his last season. I mean, unless I think there's somewhat of a slim chance he comes back for 21. Especially if this season gets all screwed up due to COVID. But if this season goes as planned, I think this is it for Drew. And in 21, I believe number 7 will be the Saint signal caller, Taysom Hill.
Taysom. I love that because Taysom Hill.
Yes, I really like you talking about coaches going mobile quarterbacks. I think Sean Payton's going to go with Taysom.
Yeah, man. And Jameis, I think Jameis, he will be a guy on the move. If I was to name a guy that will be on the move, and like there is places like Pittsburgh, or even like I mentioned with Las Vegas Raiders, you know what I mean, or maybe even damn, what other places, man?
Yeah, Colts, if Phillip Rivers retires.
Oh, that's
Colts
true. Indy's gonna be up. Yeah, you're right.
Rivers might retire too. I mean, that could be a chance like 3. But maybe even 4 if Brady, but Brady will probably hang
Rivers
got
to feed all those kids. He has to feed all 19 kids, so he might need
yeah,
work.
Yeah, he can keep playing, yeah. I think Rivers, could stick around him and Brady. I think Big Ben and Breeze are the more likely ones to retire.
I would like to see Tyrod Taylor go to back up Taysom Hill.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could work. This is what I'm thinking, though. Yeah, I think they'll sign a veteran. I think they're going to have 3 quarterbacks again. Yeah, Taysom Hill, they could sign a veteran like Tyrod. And I also believe that the Saints are going to draft somebody fairly high, either in 21 or 22. One of those drafts, we're going to spend a high pick on a quarterback because I don't think Taysom Hill's the long-term answer. I don't see him being an NFL starter for more than 2 to 3 years because the way he plays is it's just too rough. I mean, he's just that punch him in the mouth, type player. So I think you'll end up. I love Taysom, but he'll probably kind of flame out after about 2 to 3 years. And once that happens, I think whoever we draft is going to step in and be our quarterback for the hopefully next decade or 2.
I love Taysom Hill.
Speaking of that, you guys could go grab. RG3.
Oh snap! I forgot about him.
That same. He's a free agent as well.
Well, what about or even like if the world can just? I mean, we talked about this on Run Boys After Dark, Justin. So you know where I'm going.
Man.
Kaepernick, man, like what? Man, it's crazy. We're talking about 30 guys that are 31 years old, bro. Kaepernick's still out there, man. It's crazy, like to not even just have him as a backup at least. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, it's just what concerns me like Kaepernick, he's been out of the NFL so long, it's going to be a tough adjustment period for him. I could see him maybe catching on as a backup, but I'd be a little leery of it, though, because I believe he's been out of the league now almost 5
Well, I mean,
years.
when you sue the league, when you like, you accuse the league and sue and win a settlement, I'm pretty sure they don't want him back in. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for him to get back. I mean, the fact is he got blackballed, but I mean, it's just
it's terrible.
It is what it is.
It's
It
terrible.
sucks for him. But...
Yeah. Okay. Here's another one. Going back to my man Joe, when you said Aaron Rodgers, you know where I think he goes? Justin.
What you thinking?
Justin. He's coming to our Niners.
I would love that. He's a Niner fan.
Yes, and
he was pissed off that he drafted Alex Smith over him.
Exactly. We're gonna make it right, and because listen,
we're gonna mend that fence now. Yeah, we're gonna mend that fence.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? People were like, "Oh, you guys overpaid Jimmy G," and I used to look at it like this. I was like, "No, watch when the market continues to rise like the market does, and we actually have a really affordable QB with Jimmy G, and." As he gets deeper into this contract, we'll be able to part ways and not take such a crazy cap hit at all. You know what I mean? So if Aaron Rodgers goes anywhere,
so I'm gonna go back to this other take that Spencer had about Detroit sending their quarterback out, and Aaron Rodgers wanting to stay in the same division,
and go indoors too. and go indoors
and
to
he moved
preserve
to
his
Detroit
career.
so he can play against them twice a year.
That would be something. He would have to have some nuts to do that because Detroit's like a cursed franchise. I think they might just kind of say, screw it, we're going to tank. Well, how about this? Y'all think this might work? This might sound crazy. If Dak leaves Dallas, Aaron Rodgers and Big D.
Ooh, reunites
That
with
would
the
be
guy.
something.
He reunites with McCarthy. Oh, that's not far
Oh,
fetched.
wait, if McCarthy's there. Never mind. They hate each other. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say. I think
Well, I
they're
think
like
happening,
enemies.
yeah.
Those
I
two.
think Andy Dalton.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, unless they would go. Yeah, maybe they're frenemies. Maybe they'll be like, man, I miss you, Mike. I want to come back with
Like,
you,
we
man.
won one
He-
together.
At least we won.
LaFleur, I want you back, Mike McCarthy.
For real. Because
That'd be hilarious.
in one
Goes
season,
back to
Or
Mike McCarthy.
Aaron Rodgers could get signed there and just take over as the head coach as well.
for real, huh? He'll go over there and get McCarthy
Jared would probably let him
fired.
do that.
He'll get McCarthy
Yeah,
fired.
it's your show now. Yeah, it's your show now.
It's
All right, how
gonna
about this? The Raiders for Rodgers. That could work.
be. Oh, that's
But
pretty
John
good too.
Gruden, I could
Yeah,
see that.
Gruden's grinders. Gruden loves veteran players, so I
He does.
definitely see him.
The older, the better.
I have no doubt he would get rid of Carr, to get an Aaron Rodgers, or they made a move for Tom Brady, or
That's
any
true.
of these
Right,
guys who were
Jerry,
once great.
Jerry pays his guys, so he'll probably give in and pay Dak. But yeah, John Gruden loves going out and signing veterans, so yeah, I could
Yeah.
see it there.
Hey,
And
hey.
that's Phillip Rivers' next stop.
Oh man, he's like, I gotta have children in Sin City. You know what I'm saying? Man, okay, bro. Going back to the McCarthy thing, right, or the Cowboys thing. I think Andy Dalton is gonna be the next. If our theory is right about Dak Prescott not getting a long-term deal done, they're gonna rock with Andy Dalton, and he'll be the bridge quarterback to whatever young guy. Because let's remember, Uncle Jerry. He always wants to get one of these young QBs. Remember, he was all at Manziel's pro day. He was looking at Baker Mayfield like. He's always the guy that wants to look at the young guy, but then his team around him never allows him. They're like, no, we're getting offensive linemen. And this year was the first year where it was like, he was like, I'm going on my yacht and I'm going to draft and none of you guys have a say. You know what I mean? And because he went skill position, before, you know what I mean, early. We haven't really seen him do that. You know what I mean? So, I feel like he might finally be able to go QB next year, and Trevor Lawrence is going to be a hot topic, obviously, for a landing spot next season. And Detroit, if they stick to their losing ways, Detroit could be a landing spot. I mean, the Vegas Raiders too, if they don't pan out this year, they could be in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. I mean, all right, how about that? Let's close out with that question. What team do you think is going to be at the high in the draft that needs a QB that could target a Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think who's gonna be high? I think the Redskins are gonna be high, and I don't know. Dwayne Haskins doesn't impress me, so if I had to take an early guess, I'd probably have to go with the Redskins.
That's not a bad guess. I like that actually. Because
I think it's probably probably the Fields, one of the two, I would think.
yeah. Ooh. Man, maybe
Trying to think
even.
of which teams I don't like this year.
I mean, what do we feel about the Rams with Jared Goff? I'm for the life of me, I'm trying to remember his contract because I know they just extended. The creepy crawlers are back. The bubble wrap.
He restructured.
Restructure, huh?
I think they're gone again.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah, I'm thinking. Some about teams that could be bad. I mean, I definitely think Washington. I'll say Trevor to Washington, and then for the next team, man, for the other teams that could be bad, Jacksonville, maybe, or Detroit if they bottom out.
Jacksonville's a good one too.
Maybe the Raiders if they do bad.
Or if the Colts even, if
they've
the
got
Phillip
teams
Rivers,
that could
Rivers
be in
project
the
doesn't
running
pan
for
out.
sure.
If
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you say Cincinnati?
Well, they just got Joe
Not
Burrow, so
Cincinnati. Yeah, right. Yeah, with Joe Burrow.
they're gonna
there's
they're
no way.
gonna rock with him for
Burrow,
at least 3 years. At least 3
Right,
years.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They could be. I was saying bottom of the line for like.
Oh, they
like
could be at the
bottom of
top
the
of the
NFL.
draft. Yeah. They're gonna
Yeah.
focus on defense the
That's
next
a good
couple
point,
years.
though.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Cincinnati's.
What about the Giants?
Ooh, Daniel.
I think Dimes is fine there. I think they'll stick with him.
I think if
at
he
least
has
another year or two.
I think if he has a really bad year, I could see them maybe thinking about it if they're in
Well,
that spot.
it is a new regime
He's
there,
got so much upside.
but it's a it is a brand new regime.
Haskins.
Well,
Yeah, new regime. Yeah, if Dimes would do really bad, but I think Dimes will be good. I like Dimes. I don't think the Giants will be that bad this year. I think Washington's going to be putrid. Though. Rivera's going to have a nightmare because they have no good personnel there. I think he's going to, after this year, he's going to just say scrapping or starting over. We're going to get new guys in there. Like, I think they're going to get either Lawrence or Fields. You can book that.
Hey, Spencer, you're making me feel bad right now. So let me explain because I was
What about the Bears?
Oh shit! There you go.
Their defense, they're gonna probably win too many games to get either of them because of their defense. They'll probably still win like 6-7 games unless they trade up.
Yeah, I could see them. Yeah, I was gonna say I could see them doing bad enough to be in position to trade up for him.
Right, and they're not gonna be so bad to where they'll get that pick out right because their defense will win them at least 6 games. I feel like.
Yeah, because I think like you said, I think some of the teams that are going to be in position to get him outright aren't going to be in the market for him. Yeah. So I think that a team like the Bears could be bad enough to where they could trade down to get him.
Definitely, because I think Jacksonville could still stick with Minshew long term. I'm a Minshew truther.
Me too.
Minshew
I love Minshew.
I would rather have Minshew. I'd rather have Minshew than Danny Dimes.
Yes, how about this? So remember I just said Guru was kind of making me feel bad, right, Justin? Because me and Justin, we are in one league already that we drafted for, right? And I have Minshew as my backup to Josh Allen. And then I went and dropped my kicker because I'm like, why am I holding on to a kicker? And I picked up Danny Dimes, right? Then I went crazy when I seen the Cam Newton news, and I was like, I cut Danny Dimes, and I picked up Cam Newton, right? Because eventually I'm gonna cut one of them. I know, and it's like I'm such a Danny Dimes truther, but I was like, bro, like I just bought, it was like literally 5 minutes after it happened, Cam Newton signing. I was like, and I pulled the trigger, and I'm like, damn it, why did I do that? Because I do feel this.
I would rather have Cam Newton than Danny Dimes.
Well, I mean,
Dimes is one of my guys. Him and Minshew.
I know. I'm okay with Minshew. I think Cam Newton has more having him as a backup quarterback's my thing.
Yeah.
I think Danny Dimes, it's a much safer floor than Cam Newton.
I worry more about
Cam Newton has that ceiling that I think that Danny Dimes doesn't.
I worry about Danny Dimes' schedule because he's going to play the NFC West and he's going to play the AFC East. So he's going up with a ton of crazy secondaries. You know what I mean?
Right, especially early on. I tell people this, if you draft Danny Dimes, make sure you get a good QB too, like a Stafford or a Tannehill, because to start the season, Dimes is not going to be worth using most weeks. If you draft Dimes, if you wait on QB and he's there, he's good, he's solid, but make sure to draft a good backup because the start of the season for him is like a freaking gauntlet. It's going to be rough for him to do well to start.
But I'm excited for it because it's going to, for me, putting out, say with all the hatred I've been putting out for Danny Dimes, it's going to make me look smart right at the beginning of the season. So,
and I'm going to be telling people waiver wire out of the week. We want Danny Dimes. The schedule's getting better. Don't drop him. Or if he already was dropped, go at him. I'm going to be preaching at him around that time, I'm sure.
But after week 4, like you said, I'll be. He's going to move up my rankings at that point because he's already gone through the gauntlet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his start is really bad. I forgot how bad it was. But I remember I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, man, this is just I love Dimes, but holy crap, the Giants' schedule. to start the season is just brutal. I mean, let's see it here. Yeah, they start off. Yeah, they open with Pittsburgh. It looks like, and they have the Bears, the Niners, and the Rams. It's really the first three are brutal. Steelers, Bears, Niners. That is just that
that's
makes
crazy.
me cringe.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's going to be painful,
but you know what though?
He's gonna have,
especially because he can't hold on to a ball.
Yeah,
he's working
for real.
on it. They say that's the thing he's been working on this offseason. It's like they say Baker's been working on his footwork. So I'm only doing when I see it with Baker. I'm not a Baker truther. I like Dimes. Baker, though, I'm off that band.
Yeah, it's all coach talk. You can't believe any of it. Jameis Winston got LASIK surgery. I'm sure he's very accurate now.
Well,
Cam Newton's been working on his accuracy this all season. I'm sure that report will come out here in the next few days.
Yeah, no, the Cam Newton one is going to be Cam Newton feels better than ever.
Right, yeah. That'll be
Yes.
his, yeah.
It's already floating around. It's already, but
That's
right
what
now
I'm saying. I
he's
could
in the
write-
best shape of his
They don't
life.
even need to contact the team. I could write these headlines for them.
For real. No, I actually read that this morning. He's in the best shape of his life. Oh,
He's
man.
31, better shape than he was in 2015. I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on. When he is 24, 25, probably in better shape. Just going out
Well, you
on
know
a limb.
what? I believe it. You know why? Here's another Bogart intangible. With the fact, why was he MVP 2015? Because he was coming off of ankle surgery, and you know, back in 2015, they still weren't on the HGH as tough as they are now, right? And so he came up juiced to the gills. You know what I mean? And in this offseason, with him coming off of surgery again and not being on a team, being cut or released, whatever have you, and then with the COVID where doctors couldn't get near him, I wouldn't doubt he was juicing. I would. You know what I mean? Juice to the gills.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and close this thing out, fellas. Let them know where they can find you. Guru, head of the Guru Nation. Let them know.
Right. All right, yeah. Find me at Spencer the Guru on Instagram and Twitter, and we're also going to be back on YouTube here shortly with our podcast,
Yeah.
Guru Nation Podcast. So y'all go subscribe there. Spencer the Guru also just launched the Guru Nation blog on WordPress. Just announced that. Launched that last night. A first article came out. Guru's 5 Keys to Fantasy Football Success. So y'all go check that out on there as well. I'll be sharing that link all around. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
social media, y'all, especially Instagram. That's where I'm at the most, y'all. Over 6,000 strong, Guru Nation, at Spencer the Guru. Y'all go hit that follow button over on the gram.
Yeah. Clock management. Let them know where they can find all your clock managing glory.
Yeah, like Guru's big on Instagram. I'm trying to get to that level, but I'm mostly over on Twitter. So make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter. DM me. I'm doing live mock drafts on Twitter every Sunday.
Yeah.
So DM me. I'll put you in the group so you could get into that. You'll get the link for it before anyone else.
Yes. And he's also on TikTok and Instagram as well at Clock Management. You know what I mean? And for my man,
Clock management has to be on TikTok.
yes. And for my man Joe from Turn Up the Jets, because he texted me, he was like he was having some more technical difficulties, but you can find my man at Turn Up the Jets on everything.
He's back here now.
Oh,
Guru.
he is. Oh, there he is. My man, because I have the phone blocked.
Dude. Holy shit, bro. It's been a grind tonight. I apologize for this.
No, it's all
problem,
good.
man.
You did that
This is
the
the-
perfect time.
this
You
is the
really
first
did.
time-
You're about to chat all your stuff.
Listen.
Right,
Things
I
like
came at the
things like
perfect
this can
time.
occur in the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is the first time I've really dealt with the hardcore technical difficulties here. So,
All good.
Perfect timing. You can find me on Instagram where I won't have technical difficulties. I promise that. At turn_up_the_Jets with 2 S's, and then I'm Turn Up the Jets on Twitter and YouTube. You'll also find my channel on my Instagram bio as well, right to the link to my YouTube channel there. So go check that out.
Yeah. Man, okay. I almost want to ask him because I'm saying because he missed the next year's predictions. But okay, I'll hit you with one specific just for you. Sam Darnold. What's his line next year? What's Sam Darnold's line? And we'll close this thing all the way out.
Stat projection?
No, what's his line? Like, what's his stat line?
What's his stat line?
Like, if I put him under over 3,600 passing yards, and let's put him at under over 19 passing touchdowns.
I'm gonna go under in the yards. I'll go over in the touchdowns.
Okay.
So I would like anywhere between 34 to 35. In touchdowns, I'd be happy with 24. I think I need to see a leap here from 19 from last year. I need at least 24 to 25. So that's what I'm hoping for. And limiting those interceptions is the big thing.
Okay, for the
You don't think he's more than 3,600? Darnold, I thought he could get maybe more than that.
Well, because here's the thing. This is why I'm asking too, because we need to know so we can relate this to our Denzel Mims, because we're looking at him as we're looking at him in fantasy this year, and we're wondering.
Yeah, for the fantasy throwing league, what are your thoughts on Mims?
I like Mims. I mean, the only reason why I give Darnold under 36 is just, I mean, he's barely got 3,000. Yes, he's been injured too, so it's tough for me to say that. But at the same time, I mean, I think you're still going to have a running game with Bell, with Gore, so that's the only reason. But I like Mims, long story short. I think we're going to have to wait. I'll take the risk, but at the same time, fantasy-wise, I'm not jumping all over him just because there's a lot of unknowns on that offense, and I think Bogart and I have spoke upon it. It all starts with the line. I mean, if the O-line can produce.
They did address it, sure.
And the coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the coaching. That's what it's
I will say this much, though. I'm not scared of Denzel Perryman. Or not Denzel Perryman. What's his name? Brashad
Perryman.
Brashad Perryman. I'm not scared of him for Mims because Brashad Perryman is a product of Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas believed in him when he was with the Ravens. He was part of that GM staff when they drafted Perryman. So that's why I feel like they took a chance on him. But Joe Douglas is a product of Ozzie Newsome, and Ozzie Newsome is a value type of drafter. So bringing in someone like Mims, who probably would have been a first rounder if it wasn't such a deep receiver class. I love Mims. I love the idea of him. I even wanted him for my Niners. That's how much I loved Denzel Mims.
What's the over-under, though, on Sam Darnold living down in his lifetime the ghost comment?
Ooh. Okay, remember? Okay, how about this?
I don't think he'll ever live that down.
Ever.
You got to take the over on his lifetime, right?
You know what?
It's going to outlive him.
That is almost going to live as long as the butt fumble for Sanchez. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Sanchez is always going to be remembered as the butt fumble, and then Sam Darnold is going to be the guy who saw ghosts and had mono. You know what I mean?
The very first video I ever uploaded to YouTube just to test it out, and then I deleted it, was a video. I just recorded the butt fumble and then uploaded that.
Oh, man. And
I still get people sending me that video from this day. It happened freaking 9 years ago. It's crazy.
Hey, they'll never let up.
Sam Darnold, they'll never let up. It doesn't matter if he becomes the guy and breaks out next year.
And you know what, though? You did say Ronald Jones was his running back in college, and Ronald Jones can't pass protect, so he's probably been seeing ghosts for a while. You know what I mean?
And maybe an SC thing, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. But fellas, man, thank you guys. I love the cast that we got together, man. I love the fantasy community that we're all part of. You know what I mean? Man, I wish nothing but success for all of us. And, we are going to all go to war in a couple months here. You know what I mean? So we're going to have interesting collaborations on all our platforms. You know what I mean? A matter of fact, me and Justin, we're Niners. We're going to play against both your guys' teams this season. So I love it. That's going to be a great podcast. when we play the Jets. It's going to be a great podcast when we play the Saints. You know what I mean?
Right?
Yes.
Last year was wild.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was. We're looking for redemption this year. Y'all got us there on that last second field goal. I rewatched that game the other day. It's like, damn it, like we gotta shake
No,
back.
but
We
it
gotta
was
get-
Kittle. It was Kittle and that beastie
Yeah, Kittle
ass.
manhandled us, man. That was ridiculous. He was just
I was
Bro.
I was holding my breath on that field goal, though. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
We did not have a good year with field goals.
I remember my little man wasn't even 1 year old yet. And Kittle, and he's taking a nap, and Kittle catches that ball, and he's just, beast, and I'm like, ah! And I wake my son up, he's crying, and then I'm like, shh, I'm like trying to quiet him, because I'm like, you're gonna make us miss the field goal, and then we kick the field goal, and yeah, and I was like, oh, he's awake now, he's not going back to sleep, you know what I mean? But yeah, fellas, man, appreciate you guys. You know what I'm saying? And I'll see y'all in the digital worlds of the social medias. You know what I mean?
Please.
Yes. And I'll add Guru and Clock. I'll see you guys in the war room. And I think I'm going to have to vote for Mims, man. I got to do it.
Yeah, I did during the show.
Right now, yeah, he's winning the poll. He's up by 1. Let me make sure he's winning. If so, I'm gonna announce it.
So I could be the deciding. I could decide it right now if I vote.
Yeah, he's up by 1 vote. So go decide. If you vote, he'll be up by 2. So then no one can go in and try and swing it last minute.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Okay.
you'll lock in Mims for us, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave this running so you guys could talk, but I'm gonna head out of here.
for sure, brother. Thank
All right,
you.
man. Yeah, I'll be live right after this. So.
All right, I'll see you on there.
Yeah, I'll be in the
right.
chat too. But yeah, fellas, well, man, y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's all love. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Bogart. It's fun once again. I'm looking forward to doing more of these.
Oh yeah, man, I got your line. I'm gonna be, and thank you again too, Guru, for the last minute invite too. You know what I mean? Because I figured,
Yeah, no problem.
I was talking to Justin. I was like, you know what will spice this up? We gotta bring in the Guru. You know what I mean?
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
There's some spice to it. Yeah, that Louisiana gum.
Yeah, we gotta put that
spice.
Cajun on it. You know what I mean?
Yes, the Cajun flair.
For sure. For sure, man.
Yeah, I'll
Yo-
have to go turn up the Jets on IG, right? I'll have to go give you a follow.
Yeah.
For sure, bro. Same here. I'm going to check you out right after this. I know I've seen a little bit of the mock drafts you do with Justin, so
Right.
just popped up. Let's go. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem.